Hi guys, you're welcome to Kwame Affair Exclusive. This week there is one big issue trending, and then if it's trending, we have to have our bite. Now let's talk about this, add some statistics to it, make some analysis, and see if we can make some meaning out of the passage of marijuana or passage of the narcotic bill that is going to allow production of marijuana for health and medical purpose. All right. So over the week there were some back and forth at the parliament, and then that of the Supreme Court, where private citizens sent a petition to Supreme Court against the acceptance of the Section 43 of the Narcotic Control Commission Act 1019. According to them, enough explanation had not been provided at Parliament. And so in Parliament, when you look at our Constitution, there's an aspect of the Constitution that says that when a bill is being introduced, it has to be accompanied by an explanatory memorandum. You understand? That is something that explains the concept, something that gives a better understanding of whatever you're trying to introduce, the limitation, the challenges that will come with it, and all that. So the private citizen was actually arguing at Supreme Court that those notes had not been included, and it was sneaked during the last part of the conversation. Again, they feel that the new amendment that has been made, the public have not been given chance to appreciate and understand the ongoing conversation. And as a result of that, Supreme Court actually stopped the passing of the bill. But we've been told yesterday that Parliament has actually passed the bill after Godfrey Onami and the likes argue that when you are making an amendment, the law does not say that you have to add any memorandum. So that point, they think that is an error on the part of Supreme Court. It has no basis. Now, let me quickly get into the whole concept or the whole idea of legalizing cultivation of marijuana for industrial and medical use in Ghana. Now, my concern is this. It is a big industry. Many countries are trying to cash out. When you look through the statistics, it look good. For example, when you look at the US cannabis market size, it is valued somewhere around 13.2 billion. That was in 2022. And then it is expected to expand at a compound annual growth rate at 14.2% from 2023 to 2030. This is telling you about the huge nature of the market. Talking about the US, when you look at the global production of marijuana, it is also clear that the UN estimates global on the cannabis, or we're talking about the report from the UN Office on Drug and Crime report, estimate that global cannabis hair production was 42,000 metric tons in 2005. And in the total of 42,000 metric tons, Africa contributed 25%. The rest, US or America took 46%, while North America did 23%, while South America also did 23%. So chunk of the hemp production or industry rests within the American enclave. Of course, 25% Africa has shown potential. But when you look at the statistics way back from 2019, a report by the African Regional Hemp and then Cannabis Global Market amounted to 37.3 billion. That is 2019. We're only producing 11% of the market. From 2019, we're moving. As more countries are legalizing it, then you realize that a time to come, our production towards the total production of cannabis in the world is going to increase. Let me make this analysis with this particular data from the UN Office of Drug and Crime report. So over the period of 1995 and 2005, a total of 19 out of 53 African countries reported cultivation of cannabis. So, I mean, in 1995, even back then in 1995, where many African countries had not legalized cultivation of marijuana, cultivation of marijuana was illegally done on the soil of Africa. And only in 1995 to 2005, we were doing about 19 countries in Africa were cultivating. Now, this brings to the question, it is illegal. Governments are not making money around it. People are cultivating it illegally. Do we sit down and watch, or government should find an approach of making money out of it? Somebody will say, well, give legitimate licenses, let people produce, tax them, and make some level of revenue from it. Everybody knows that recently Ghana went for a $3 billion IMF loan. And before that IMF loan, IMF has given us a lot of conditionalities. 2023 public sector employment, there is a freeze on it. All of us are aware. There come e-levy, all in the name of raising revenue. There have been some tax components which we see today. I mean, increment in VAT and the likes, all in the name of trying to meet the IMF target before we can qualify for the loan. And so the nature of our economy, the level of inflation or persistent level of inflation we saw this year, we see that there is a challenge we have in Ghana. So in terms of generating revenue, Ghana is keen in using every legitimate methodology or strategy that can help Ghana to earn revenue. So I think this is a revenue avenue for the government, which is good. Now my challenge, how do we ensure that people or these drugs wouldn't end up in the hands of people who are not supposed to have access to them? Now I have challenge with the supervisory role we play in Ghana. My concern is Ghana has shown us that we are unable to supervise illegitimacy, or we are unable to supervise our government agencies to do the right thing. For example, when you go to license office, or when you look at the number of accidents happening on our road, many drivers will tell you that if you want to get license, there is a ways and means. And something of that sort is not something that we should even play with. Yet, people get licenses who are not qualified. Again, let's look at our assemblies. Roads are contracted, and after the construction of the road, you realize that few years, not even few years, just a year, the road will be gone. The road is being spoiled. Now, when it happens like that, the question is, who plays the supervisory role in ensuring that the contractor who has been given money to contract the road, or the contractor who contracted the road and later coming to get his money from the government, has done the right thing, used quality materials and all that? And it's quite evident that if our roads are not lasting longer, it means that we are not playing our supervisory role. Because on what basis do you pay a contractor? On what basis do you pay a contractor who has constructed the road, and just after a year, the road gets spoiled? So when it comes to our supervisory role, I'm a bit concerned about how effective the government is going to supervise and ensure that farmers who have licenses are protecting the farms to the point that people are not going to get access to these products. It will come with its own implications, except government will be telling us that the revenue that will be generated through the production of the hemp, maybe we're going to use some to expand our psychiatric centers, our various medical, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But until then, I am much concerned with controlling access. In the meantime, I don't think Ghana can. I don't think Ghana has shown enough proof that we can control access. Again, let me add some few African countries who have legalized the use of marijuana for industrial and medical purpose. For Ghana's supervisory rule, I still doubt. I'm sure it's the same in other African countries. But let's see how best governments can manage that. We have places like Lesotho, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Rwanda, Morocco, Libya, Ghana, Uganda, Lesotho. All of them, as I said, they have legalized the use of marijuana for industrial and medical purposes. So I know there's going to be debate, but it's a warning to every Ghanaian that for those of you who are thinking that it has been legalized for medical, it has been legalized for recreational use, you might be getting it wrong. It has not been legalized for recreational use. It's only for medical and industrial purposes. So let's take care of ourselves and know what's happening. But what I'm going to do is I will come back with details of what happened at the Supreme Court before the law was finally passed. The tussle between the Attorney General and the private citizen on the narcotic control bill. So we'll come back and then speak about that. In the meantime, this is what I want to share with you. Take good care of yourself. Enjoy yourself. At least we can say that almost 10 plus African countries out of the 53 total of African countries we have accepted. So I believe 10 plus have accepted the planting of marijuana for medical and industrial use. My name is Kwame Fair. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.